Hi there, and welcome back to our English learning podcast, where we bring real IELTS practice right to your ears. I'm your host, Lily, and in today's episode, we're doing a full IELTS speaking mock test based on Cambridge IELTS 6, Test 4. Tom will be the examiner, and Anna will be the test taker. Listen closely to how Anna answers the questions and try to think about how you would respond. Let's get started.
Do you prefer to have one particular friend or a group of friends? Why?
I think I prefer having a small group of close friends rather than just one best friend. It's nice to have different people to talk to and do things with depending on how I'm feeling or what I need. For example, one friend might be great for deep conversations, while another is more fun and spontaneous. A group of friends gives me balance and support in different ways.
What do you like doing most with your friends?
Honestly, just spending time together, even if we're not doing anything exciting. We often hang out at each other's houses, watch movies, or cook meals together. I also love going on short trips with my friends. We've done a few weekend getaways, and those are always memorable. It's the quality time that matters most to me.
Do you think it's important to keep in contact with friends you knew as a child? Why or why not?
It depends. I think it's lovely if you can keep in touch, especially if you had a strong connection growing up. Those friendships can be very special because the other person knows your background and your early experiences. But people change over time, and sometimes you naturally drift apart. I don't think it's necessary, but if the relationship is meaningful, then yes, it's worth maintaining.
What makes a friend into a good friend?
A good friend is someone who is reliable, trustworthy, and honest. They don't judge you when you make mistakes, and they're there when you need them most. I also think a good friend listens and remembers the little things. It's not always about big gestures. Sometimes just being present is enough.
Describe an important choice you had to make in your life. You should say when you had to make this choice, what you had to choose between whether you made a good choice, and explain how you felt you were making this choice.
One of the most important choices I've ever made was choosing my university major. I remember being in my final year of high school and feeling completely unsure about which direction to take. I was interested in both psychology and marketing, and I kept going back and forth between the two. My parents were very supportive and encouraged me to think carefully about what I truly enjoyed and what kind of career I could see myself in. I also talked to my teachers and some professionals in both fields to get a better understanding of what each path would be like. After a lot of reflection, I finally decided to study psychology. At the time, I was nervous because I wasn't completely sure it was the right decision. But looking back now, I think it was a great choice. I've learned so much, not just academically, but also about people and human behavior in general. I feel like I've found something I'm passionate about, and I'm planning to continue with a master's degree. When I made that decision, I felt both anxious and excited, but I also felt proud of myself for thinking it through and trusting my instincts.
What are the typical choices people make at different stages of their lives?
That's a really interesting question. I think our choices evolve as we get older. As children, we choose our hobbies, what to eat, or who to play with. Teenagers make choices about education, like which subjects to focus on or whether to go to university. In our 20s, people often decide where to live, what career to pursue, or even whether to stay single or start a serious relationship. Later in life, choices might include buying a house, having children, or planning for retirement. Each stage brings its own set of important decisions.
Should important choices be made by parents rather than by young adults?
I believe young adults should make their own choices, especially when it comes to things that directly affect their future. Of course, parents can offer valuable advice and guidance, but at the end of the day, it's the young adult who has to live with the consequences. Making decisions, whether they turn out to be right or wrong, is a key part of growing up and becoming independent.
Why do some people like to discuss choices with other people?
Because making decisions can be stressful or confusing, and hearing someone else's opinion can provide clarity. Sometimes we're too emotionally involved to see all sides of a situation, so talking it through helps us consider things we might not have thought about. Also, getting advice from people we trust can make us feel more confident in our final decision.
What kind of choices do people have to make in their everyday life?
There are so many, from small things like what to wear or what to eat, to slightly bigger choices like how to spend our time, who to meet, or even how to manage our finances. Many of these decisions might seem minor on their own, but over time, they shape our habits and routines and even our health and happiness.
Why do some people choose to do the same things every day? Are there any disadvantages in this?
People often follow the same routine every day because it feels safe and comfortable. Routines can reduce stress and make daily life more efficient. However, doing the same things repeatedly can also lead to boredom or even prevent personal growth. If people never step out of their comfort zone, they might miss out on opportunities or experiences that could enrich their lives.
Do you think people have more choices to make today than in the past?
Yes, definitely. With the rise of technology and globalization, we now have more options in nearly every area of life: careers, education, travel, even relationships. While that can be empowering, it can also make decision making harder. Sometimes people feel overwhelmed by too many choices, and it leads to anxiety or indecision. So, in a way, more choices mean more freedom, but also more responsibility.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. That was a full IELTS speaking test with Anna answering some really deep and thoughtful questions. We hope this helps you get a clearer idea of how to structure your own responses in the IELTS test. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time with another episode. Keep practicing and stay confident.